on the set, please? Just kidding. My name is Marley, and I am a bartender at the Next Door Gastropub, located in Port Angeles, Washington. And I've been bartending for a year and a half.
How old are you?
24.
So what did you do before becoming a bartender?
I worked at a skin cancer office. I used to do surgeries.
So that seems like two pretty unrelated business. How did you move from doing surgeries to making drinks?
Well, I was going to school before, but I couldn't go to school during the day and then work at the office that I was at. So I needed to get a job where I can have more flexible hours, so I can still go to school. So I'm going back to school.
Being a bartender, they want to see firsthand how people act under the influence. Have you ever seen people do something you don't think you want to see?
It depends. Like at restaurants, bartending at a restaurant is completely different than bartending at a bar, and I bartend at a bar as well. So the late night hours when people drink more, they become a little loosey-goosey and a little bit more vulgar with their vocabulary. And you kind of see that like people don't always have the most polite manners when they start drinking more. So it's just kind of have to take it with a grain of salt, sort of say people become not themselves when they're drinking. I work at another bar where minors aren't allowed, so that's what I'm saying. The later hours there and people drink there, they act a lot different than a restaurant where they're more composed and having a couple cocktails with their dinner as opposed to just drinking alcohol for a couple hours.
So as of now, are you happy with being a bartender, or are you just waiting to return to nursing?
Honestly, that's where I'm kind of in a pickle of like going back to school and going to school full time. Right now I'm just taking one class because I only work 3 days and I'm making good enough money to where I was working full time. So I don't know, bartending's fun and it's nice, but obviously it'd be nice to have a job with benefits again and a 401k. So there's definitely the pros and cons, but it's fun. It's leaving my work at work is nice as opposed to bringing home the drama.
So most countries around the world have the drinking age at about 18, some countries at even about 16, except for the United States, which is 21. Do you think that's a little bit too much, or do you think that's okay?
I think 21 is appropriate because the more immature you are, the faster you're going to drink and the less you're going to think about responsibilities after drinking. Personally, if I'm serving people, I feel like it's my responsibility to make sure that they're not driving if they look way too intoxicated, because I can lose my liquor license and the establishment can get fined and lose their liquor license as well.
Well, some would argue that if you can drink at a younger age, then most of it would be with your parents, who would be there to guide you on how to drink responsibly. Well, currently, some people never tasted alcohol before 21, and on that birthday, they just went full on and drink recklessly. What do you think about that?
I don't think alcohol is that great for your internal organs as well either. So if you start drinking at a younger age, that's more that your liver is going to be taking a damage. So I'm always for 21 is fine. Lowering the age, I personally think is silly. I mean, obviously we have Canada right there, so you can go when you're 19, but...
Okay, fair point.
I'm making you a drink with an egg in it. rocks.
This is a Boulevardier, bourbon, Campari, bittersweet vermouth.
This is a real pretty shot.
Oh shucks, you're gonna make me blush, Adam. Jeez.
That's awesome.
I need to get some sunglasses on this light here. Got to make hot buttered rum yesterday for the first time.
How was it?
Awesome.
It was awesome. That was the first time I had it, and it was what I expected it to be, but better.
Okay.
Yeah.
It sold well. I was making it from scratch too.
Yeah.
So butter, rum, and brown sugar and hot water, so it's a hot drink.
Yeah.
A key thing is emulsifying the butter with everything else. You know, if you just plop some butter and some hot water and booze, it's gonna float to the top and you're gonna have an oil slick on the top, right?
Yeah.
So there's a trick ingredient, which I'm not gonna tell your audience. They have to do the research themselves.
All right.
So it's bonding simultaneously with the fats
Yeah.
and the water content.
Okay.
Yeah. My name is Austin Robert. I'm working at Station 51 Tap House, and I've been there since May. This is my first bartending experience professionally.
Okay.
I think the strongest point on my resume as far as being qualified for the job is that I spent a better part of a decade homeless and hitchhiking and hopping trains across the continent. And I think that made me qualified in the fact that I can communicate with a lot of different people in a lot of different walks of life and find some similarities and, you know, keep them entertained and that kind of thing. It's critical in the job. I'll try not to cuss. I like working at a bar that minors aren't allowed because I'm not so self-conscious about cussing there, you know. But I try to keep it clean if my grandparents are watching or something too. But yeah, so you know, what about me? What do? I chop wood and do art, Venetian stucco when I get the chance, and mix drinks, and read books, do concrete work, build a house. I'm building a house, huh? Oh, so one of the things that kept me in this area is wild mushrooms. And that's something that I've been doing for more than 10, 12, 13 years, 14 years. I judge times of my life as far as like how old my dog is. And if it's like pre-Siaea, then it's older than 12. So I've been doing it for longer than 12 years. And that's a really cool thing about around here is, you know, chanterelles, porcinis, the agaricuses, I mean the plethora of wild forageable mushrooms around here.
So what do you do with mushrooms? Do you cook with them or do you make alcohol with them?
Well, I don't make alcohol per se with them. I love cooking with them. One thing that I do is bitters. And I use some mushrooms in my bitters.
So you've said that you started working at this bar since May, and that's the start of your professional bartending career. Then if I understood correctly, before that you had a kind of unofficial bartending career. So how was that like?
I didn't. Unofficial.
Yeah, unofficial.
Okay, yeah. Well, as you can see, I mean, I hold a bar
Yeah.
at home as far as amongst friends. I've been experimenting and reading up. I've got a pretty extensive library of cocktail books that I'm enthusiastic about it.
Okay.
And I enjoy seeing the different flavors and how they interact together.
So what was your job before becoming a bartender and achieving your dream?
Well, what wasn't my job? I did about everything, shit. Mostly construction, carpentry. My first job in high school was, I started from a dishwasher and got up to line cook before I headed off and did firefighting and that kind of stuff. And then I was a barista for a year or so, and then I was a cook here and I was a cook there, mostly line and prep. So I was familiar with a kitchen before this bartending job, for sure.
So how long have you been experimenting with drinks and stuff?
I've been dabbling in it for about 5 years.
Okay. It sounds like a short time, but it really isn't, right? It's a lot.
Right. Well, and two, just the development of it. Like going back to high school and going back to those years previous, it's like, I'm just gonna drink a beer. High school, I might share a bottle of Jose Cuervo thinking that it's tequila.
Yeah.
Which thank goodness I find out that it's not really tequila, it's just garbage. So the development of it, all right, so when I was a kid, I was just trying to get, messed up or whatever, get, the quickest bang for the buck, some Jack Daniels, hang out, like some really cheap, high octane beers, whatever, that kind of thing.
Drunk and be a little stupid, I suppose.
Yeah.